What do you call an average pair of pants? Normal jeans. Cast your vote below as to how many subscribers you think I just lost. What's up, all you fine people of the internet? Thank you for being generous with your time and hanging out with me for a little while today. So if you're new to the channel, what we do here on Cardivox Academy is once a month, our patrons are able to cast their vote on a song for me to react to. They nominate it, they vote on it, and I do whatever song it is pretty much no matter what. Now, we've gotten a lot of new patrons recently, so we've actually started doing the top two. So the ones that, you know what top two means. We started doing that, and today we're checking out Norma Jean with errors /with_errors. I don't know if that's like a coding joke or something. But I haven't listened to Norma Jean since Bless the Martyr or something. It's the album with like the little kid on the front. I haven't listened to the Norma Jean since then, so I don't really remember what they sound like. I don't really know what to expect. But again, my name is Mark. This is Cardivox Academy, and I myself am a metal vocalist in primarily one band, Kardashev. We just released a single through Metal Blade, and we've got an album coming out June 10th. Very excited about that. And then I'm also a vocal coach. I specialize predominantly in death metal and deathcore types of sounds. Really, all of those types of sludgy, gritty, aggressive types of metal. And what we do here is we take the reaction format, we break it down, we try to make it educational and fun. And if you like the content, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. It means a lot to me to watch the channel grow. Me, Alex, and Ludo, our editor. Alex is my business partner. We all like to see things expand. It's a lot of fun. And then don't make a joke about that in the comments below. Keep it PG. I realize what I said. And then, if you really love the content, be sure to check us out on Patreon. Our Patreon pretty much exists entirely on our Discord server, and we also do vocalist themed events twice a month. We have hangouts every Friday night. Sometimes we play games and do quizzes. It's a lot of fun. I have been able to be a lot more present in the Discord server as well because my schedule is a lot more free. And that's been a lot of fun. But anyways, I think that's enough plug-in. So let's go ahead. Let's hope I pushed record on all the appropriate things. Yes, I did. And let's check out our Patreon pick of the month, Norma Jean with errors. Here we go. Oh. All right, we're going to stop there because that's what I do. I stop the songs and I talk about the vocal technique. I'm not going to lie, that kind of sucked me in. I normally would have paused by now because you don't want to let the song play too long. But that is a vibe. Holy cow. If that's what Norma Jean sounds like now, I have a lot of catching up to do. I don't know if you saw it, but like right when the song opened, I think it was maybe when the main riff came in, my interface is over here and I was just like volume up. This is good. it sucked me in so much that I kind of stopped thinking about the vocals critically. And that is not my job. My job is to give you direct vocal feedback. So let's talk about what I picked up. First and foremost, he's singing in a very comfortable range and it's very low compression, right? There is a lot of air coming through and he's doing that on purpose, right? Oftentimes when people talk about singing or you know, they'll be like, you don't want to sing breathy. And like, that's true when you're just learning, but a little bit of breathiness can be really great for emotion, for storytelling, things like that. He's doing it very well. He's got his voice kind of higher in pitch and forward. And again, I don't know the melody, but you know, it's very easy to do. It's a sort of a sensual, right there like that. Now he's not necessarily, well, no, I think he was throwing a little bit of grit on there. Anyways, then he starts to project. And as he's projecting, he's getting a very bright and forward sound. You know, if you watch like 4 of my videos, you're going to notice that I talk about brightness and forwardness a lot. And it's because in the realm of metal and rock and all of these things, it is a very commonly used placement in sound. And the reason for that is because it helps us access distortion in a way that's healthy and effective. If we're singing out of our throat, which you really don't want to do in any genre, if we're singing out of our throat, crunching down on those muscles, pushing things down low because we think, well, grit is a throaty sound, which doesn't have to be, then we're going to be cruising for a bruising, right? I want to hear a little bit more. I am going to go back a little bit so I can be a little bit more... I could be a little bit more analytical, but yo, this song pulls you in. Holy cannoli. And then we'll talk about his screams. To me, it just sounded like a very nicely placed gritty belt on pitch. Let's go. Okay. So let's talk about a couple more things. So now that I was listening to it a little bit more analytically, he does one thing that's very, very, very cool. I don't remember what the words that I don't remember the words he was singing, but he in one breath turns that low compression, nice breathy voice into a more full voiced sound, right? So he's going from like a hey right there to an hey right there, hey right there, right? That's a really important skill for I think anybody to know. Right? I think it's very important for any clean singer, any screamer, anybody to know how to lean into the voice without squeezing the neck. How do we do that, right? Well, number one is we understand that our voice is a 3-ingredient recipe, right? It is breath support, it is resonance, and phonation. In other words, it is the way that we are driving the sound, it is where we are placing the sound, and it is the sound that we are creating. And for us to have a good voice, we need a balance, right? Think of it as again, like a recipe, right? You want your ingredients to be in balance so you get the flavors that you want. The same is true with the voice, right? A lot of times, if people, especially new singers, but I run into this with more advanced singers as well. A lot of screamers have this issue. I'll tell you that. When they start to lean into their voice or lean into their scream, or with a scream, let me give myself some distance here. What'll happen is that they will squeeze down on their throat muscles, right? Because we do need a, how do I say this? We do need a more steady and supported flow of air. And one way, it's the wrong way, but one way that you can do that is by squeezing the opening tighter, right? I'm not going to lie to you. It's going to work. It's not going to sound as good. It's not going to feel as good. And your vocal career may be shorter than you want it to be, but it will work, right? Don't do it, but it will work. Instead, what we should be doing is thinking of the relationship between the breath and the glottis, right? The breath and the vocal folds as being a balanced one, right? And the amount of subglottal pressure that we need, which is pressure underneath your vocal folds, is very minimal, right? It's very, very minimal. Even when we're belting, even if we're like, yo, hey, yo, whoa, hey, yeah, 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 yeah. There's not a lot of pressure underneath my vocal folds. It's a balance of abdominal engagement. And I'm also thinking about where the voice is going, right? A lot of times when we sing and when we scream, regardless if it's like a clean note like I just did, or if it's like a like these types of sounds, the front of the face is where we want to think about this sound going. Now, we could talk a lot about raising the soft palate as well, balancing resonance, kind of out and back versus forward versus up and out. That's a whole video in and of itself. But great dynamics, great control here. I want to play it a little bit more before we talk about the scream specifically, just because I've been talking a lot and there's a lot of song to go. But let's check this out. Okay, that scream is awesome. That scream is awesome. I mean, and it's kind of hard. Like, I don't know, like when it's got such like musical pitch on it, do we call it a scream anymore? Is it still a scream at that point? My answer is I don't care. Maybe we would call it gritty singing at that point. It would be different enough for it to warrant a discussion. Now, in my videos, I often either do the same thing the vocalist is, or I give it a try, right? Because sometimes I cover vocalists, Electric Callboy being a big example, where like they don't do what I do and I don't do what they do, but it's just fun to try, and there's no shame in my game. So I'm happy to mess up in front of all of you as I try new things. This one I'm going to avoid, and part of the reason for that is this past week I have basically talked for about 14 hours a day. 14 is an exaggeration. Probably 11 to 12 hours a day, almost nonstop. It's a long story, filling in for a lot of different things, family related. So just to kind of give my voice a little bit of a break, because it is a little tired after such a crazy week, I'm going to hold off on this specific sound. And I would like to tell you why. Anytime we are combining the sound of distortion with the sound of true chord phonation, right? True chord phonation is what you're hearing right now. Hey, that's my true voice. Then the sound of distortion on top of that, we have to be very careful with our voice, and we need to really understand the basics very, very, very well, right? A good example of this is, I was just going to go off track with an unnecessary analogy. If you're my student, you know what's up. But essentially, this requires so much vocal balance, right? It requires so much balance in the voice. It requires really understanding that 3-ingredient recipe very well. It's interesting because this type of scream, to point the right direction, is actually one of the easier ones to do as far as just getting the sound, with the balance of the distortion in the voice. It's also one of the easier ones to mess yourself up with, right? So I really rarely start people out here. Honestly, if you're a brand new screamer and you want to scream like this, we're probably not going to do that within the first 5 lessons. We're probably going to train your clean singing voice, right? We're probably going to just help you sing, and you don't have to be amazing. You don't have to be the next Dimash. But you should be able to hold your own at a karaoke night pretty well, right? That's a good goal. Now, the distortion that we're getting here, some people would put this into fry territory. Some people would put this into false chord territory. I tend to just think of it as a gritty belt. And the reason I think of it that way is because oftentimes there is a combination of things going on. Sometimes when we talk about the false chord versus fry dichotomy, we tend to think that all vocal distortion is one of those things and none of the other. But a lot of times you can hear a little bit heavier fry distortion, right? You can hear a little bit, which at its base level is like that. Oh. There's a little bit of that sound going on. You can also hear some sort of higher false chord activation. Hey. And those two things together, I have some other videos where I demonstrate that, but again, we're going to hold off for today. When you put these things together, right, you get a lot of different sounds. Another thing I want to be very forward with you on is that because this sound builds, or this type of singing and screaming builds on your true voice, although he did have an almost entirely voiceless scream that did dip very heavy into Fry territory there, it's going to sound a lot like you, right? So when we do stuff like this, and this, believe it or not, even though this is a much more aggressive sound, it's a lot easier on the voice. But when we do stuff like, it's just true that some of the nuance of our unique voice is pulled away, and I'm going to sound a lot like a lot of other people. Now here, because we have your true voice, and that true voice is letting us hear the resonance that is the shape of your head, and everybody's head is shaped a little bit different, you are more likely to sound like a very good and polished version of yourself doing this than you are to sound like a very good and polished version of XYZ vocalist. So that's something to think about. Without demonstrating it, that's kind of where I have to leave it. But here's a segue for you. But check out my other videos where I do vocals all the time. All right, let's keep going. Yeah. Whoa. I'm also getting a lot of like Tool vibes. Like he's not just the way that he's singing, kind of when he's, in his more quiet, sensual voice. But the way that he is dancing around the song, one thing that made Maynard so unique, and I'm not trying to say that he's ripping off Maynard or Tool. Every time I compare a vocalist to another, somebody is like, I'm not saying he's copying him or ripping off, but there's certainly a parallel to be had. And one thing about Maynard that was really nice is he wasn't always like having to be on the downbeat. He would skip, he would speed up and slow down. He would kind of like flirt with the song in a way, right? And I'm getting a lot, the name escapes me, but I'm getting a lot of that same vibe from this singer here. And I absolutely love it because, this is just my opinion, but maybe nothing. Guitar solos get kind of boring for me sometimes. But one thing that really bores me when I hear a song is if the beat's like, and then the vocals are like this the whole time through this song. Here is the lyric that I'll say, blah, blah, blah. Like, now, here's the thing. If you're new to songwriting and you're just practicing and that's how you do it, hell yes, keep doing that. Do more of that. Do as much of that as you can and then grow from that. So if you're like writing your first song and it sounds like that and you're like, oh man, Mark just shit on my new song. No, I would probably love your new song because for where you're at, it's awesome, right? Now, if you've been a band as long as these guys have and you're stuck in this spot here, then I would be like, maybe not so much my cup of tea. But then I guess it can depend on genre as well, because a lot of Viking metal has that, but that's supposed to have that like, drinking ale with your friends sort of chanty vibe. So I guess it works there. Anyways, that's really all I wanted to say. I'm hearing a strong parallel between Tool, even with the music as well. Very cool. Very, very cool. I have to show you something. I love the way he's exiting the word and. All of you, and he lets go of the distortion and he sort of drops the scream on the floor like he doesn't even care about it. That is classy. That is a classy move. You know, y'all, a lot of times when I do these videos, the song isn't really for me, but I do my best to find something that I enjoy from it, and to make it educational. I'm the type of person who I always try to make the situation I'm in a fun one, right? This song is dope. This song is dope. This is such a thoughtfully written song. Wow. Damn. What a banger. Wow. What a good song. What a great song. Okay. Excellent. Excellent song. My apologies to everyone that I kind of held back a little bit more than I normally do on the vocal demonstration, but I got a lot of lessons. I got to treat my voice. I got to treat my voice well. Anyways, excellent suggestion from our patrons. What a cool song. If you want to nominate and vote on songs, head out to our Patreon. Again, 99% of our Patreon exists on our Discord server, but this is one of the things that we do run through Patreon. And when you vote on a song, I'll react to it. You know, I may not like it. I'll be honest if I don't. But this one was a great choice. Excellent. I'm going to literally stop this video and just listen to this song on repeat while I do some stuff around the house. Thank you so much for your time. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy the content. Damn, that was dope. It was so good. I got nothing else to say. Many thanks. Much love. I'm out.